What's happening, everyone? This is a video about how I designed and made my carrying cases for locomotives. These are for an SN3 locomotive, K27s. But pretty much this design could be used for any scale. I didn't fully come up with the design, but a lot of it I saw online and then kind of just adapted it to my own. So the box itself is just made out of 1/2-inch Baltic Birch that I got from Rockler. It is glued and then finish nailed together, and then that was it. Nothing, no dovetails or nothing like that. It's strong enough the way it is. It's just standard hardware, and then it's just got the 2 hinges in the rear. So inside is designed so that you can lift the locomotive out. These foam blocks here are basically just to hold the sides in place while being transported. And then there's also 2 small blocks on the back side. And then all you have to do is grab the locomotive with the handles. And then, so these side pieces hold it in, and I just cut felt and put felt so that way, because this foam, I don't know how well it will work against finishes, or it is just the upholstery padding that I got from Home Depot, so I don't trust it as far as if you were to keep something in here any long term as far as ruining the finish. So I just got this felt, I think it's from Walmart, cut it and just glued it in place. So the locomotive is actually sitting on track, and the way I designed it is that you can lift it out of its place, and this is all plexiglass. I believe it's 3/8 plexiglass, and so that's the way you just lift it off. So these clear pieces are here just to kind of a thumb hold, and then your hands just cradle it while you move it back and forth. And then I'll show you how you actually put it on the track. It works with a PBL railer really well. So this is just some SN3 flex track. If you haven't seen these, it's just a re-railer, can't say that. And PBL makes this one, and it's for SN3, but I've seen them in other scales, HO, N scale, and I think Pico is the one who makes it for those scales. So the acrylic on the bottom is the exact width of SN3 track. So it just clicks right down in place, and all you have to do is just hold the re-railer, and then you can just push the locomotive off. And let me move the camera. And with the re-railer, it leaves it perfectly on the track. So the reason I designed it this way is I'm trying to minimize the amount of touching that you have to do, because I've got a friend that is local here, so I'll bring my stuff over to his place and run it. That's why I designed these cases, plus going to other people's houses. I don't like having to disassemble it, where you have to disassemble the drawbar, the connections. It's just more stuff that's going to fail in the future. Also, if I can avoid touching as much as possible, great. And then I'll give you a close-up here of what the track that it sits on. So this is the track that it sits on. This is just code 70 track that I soldered onto PCB boards, and then screwed it down to this acrylic. I believe this is the same 3/8. It should be the same 3/8. I laser cut this. I have a laser cutter, and I just cut it to the exact width of the rail. So as long as your track is pretty straight, it just kind of locks down in place. If it did give problems on another track, I could sand it, make it fit a little bit better. And then this will lift out, and then it fits into that slot right there. Originally I had designed it without that, and that the locomotive would just sit on here, and then you could push the re-railer to the end. But I found going to someone else's layout, trying to put this big thing down onto the layout while you're unloading is actually really inconvenient, and it could damage part of their layout, or it was very inconvenient. So I came back and designed this. I haven't tried it out in person, actually taken to someone's house, but I've done it here a bunch of times and it seems to work. So both the cases are identical. And this is a 1/4 inch, I believe it's 1/4 inch, the same Baltic Birch. And then you can see how it folds up, and there's just hinges down here, and then the holes, and then you can lift it. And then it just slides right back into place here, and it's a pretty tight fit. So this works well for these locomotives. So if I ever do get anything bigger, one day I hopefully can get a K36 or K28 in SN3. I'd have to build it just a little bit bigger, but I'll just build it each case individually. So thought I'd just show that. There's not a lot of cases out there online. I know there's people that have custom built them, but there's nothing really that I've found that shows their operation and so on. So here's the other one, and I just used these locking pins that I got at Harbor Freight, just because you never know if this thing were to pop. You've got a couple $1,000 worth of locomotive that could potentially come tumbling out. So I like to overthink things. So that just locks it in place and makes it easy. I mean, you could put a padlock on it or some other locking thing, but I had these laying around and they work pretty well. So any questions or anything, just go ahead and leave them down below. Thanks.